Where am I? Oh, I might as well cook while I'm here. Oh, I should probably get into something more appropriate before I start. Well, that's more like it, isn't it? What's up, guys? Tonight we're gonna cook a Nightshade Nightmare Skillet bake. Alright, here are ingredients here. The highlights are eggplant, onion, tomato, bell pepper, celery, and vegan sausage. We'll go through them one by one, so don't worry about that. The first step here, before you even start, is to preheat your oven to 350. Go ahead and dice your eggplant and put it in a saute pan. Fill it up with water, just enough so that the water is covering the eggplant. Next up, we want to boil the eggplant, bring it to a nice roiling boil, then turn down the heat to medium-low or so, and cover the pan. Let that simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. As you'll see here, I actually let this go a little bit too long. It was a bit soggy, but it ended up working out because the oven will actually dry it out. So remember, 2 to 3 minutes. Just check it by eye, make sure it doesn't get too soggy. Next, heat some oil in a pan, and then add your Cajun Holy Trinity, onion, bell pepper, and celery. I use red onion here because it's more nutritious, but flavor-wise, it's about the same. Let that simmer for about 5 minutes or so until it starts getting soft and the onion will become translucent. Then add your tomatoes. So I dice these, just go ahead and add them and saute these for about 5 additional minutes until they soften up a bit and some of the juice cooks away. So the next step here is going to be to add the eggplant back in. Then you'll also want to add your spices, which you can see here. This is 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning, that's salt-free, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I also added half a teaspoon of salt because my Cajun seasoning is salt-free. You might want to go that way, it just gives you more flexibility to control the sodium content, but it really is up to you. Okay, next up I'm adding my vegan sausage. This is Field Roast. It's a brand of vegan products. It's actually made with wheat gluten, so it's soy-free if you're concerned about soy and man boobs and all that stuff. So it's quite good. It's very meaty, very low fat as well. But obviously if you're not vegan here, you could add any sort of sausage. This one is chipotle flavored. I'm adding half a cup of breadcrumbs here. I actually decided while I was, midway through this recipe that I wanted to add more breadcrumbs. So the total is a cup of breadcrumbs. And I think that resulted in the best texture. So here you can see me adding that additional half cup of breadcrumbs. This really helped to dry out some of the extra juices from the vegetables. And it gave it a much better texture once it came out of the oven. So just a little foreshadowing there. The next step will be to bake this dish. So take a large oven pan. This is a casserole dish. Put your filling in it. Just make sure you spread it out nice and evenly, which you'll see me doing here. There's really no trick to this. You don't need to oil the pan. It's not going to stick. It's moist enough. Alright, so I'm just kind of perfecting the spread here. You want to get it nice and even, just so it cooks evenly. A lot of the moisture will be cooked off in the oven. Next up, you want to put the dish in the oven and bake it at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. So this is what it looks like after 30 minutes in the oven. You can see the texture has changed significantly. I'm going to add some Daiya cheese here. This is a vegan mozzarella cheese. It's pretty good. Obviously you could use dairy cheese here as well, but I would not recommend it for the animals and health and all that. So this is 2 cups in total, but of course you can adjust this to your taste. The idea is just to consistently and evenly cover the top of this casserole dish. So you'll see me here just spreading it out, making sure it's evenly coated. And this is what it looks like after an additional 5 minutes in the oven. So 5 minutes is all you need to melt the cheese. So here's our final product, our Nightshade Nightmare Skillet Bake. And I know I didn't actually bake it in the skillet here, but you can do that if it's easier. I just don't have one that's oven worthy. Thanks for watching, everyone. You'll find my recipe linked down below if you want exact ingredient amounts and instructions, so please check that out. And remember to subscribe so that you can get your history while it's still fresh.